Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams. Now we have another question from devotees. So they've said that our Srila Gurudev established Tulasi Das as a Vaishnava saint or a Santa. And in some places it's not seen that way. It's seen that he was not on that really level of heralded as a great Vaishnava saint. So they're asking, why did our Gurudevs do that? What's the understanding behind that? So there was this discussion going on in the 1996 when Gurudev was first preaching in the West. Gurudev glorified Tulasi Das, and some people were negatively commenting on that, saying some people have this idea that he's not really a Vaishnava. So Gurudev very strongly countered this idea and gave different evidences for that. So we'll share those with you now. He had a letter and some correspondence going back and forth with some different Maharajas from different organizations. So Gurudev, in his letter of his response, he very clearly established, for example, that Tulasi Das, first of all, Gurudev clearly, some people were saying, okay, Swami Prabhupada, in some places he gave some denigrating comments towards Tulasi Das. But Gurudev showed that in other places, Prabhupada very clearly glorified Tulasi Das, so it's one of those things where time, place, and circumstance is important. And Gurudev said that, look, I am Shiksha disciple of Prabhupada. I served him since the 40s. I've known him for so long. I was there at a sannyas ceremony. I did a sannyas ceremony. Sent so many gifts to him. So people were trying to divide Gurudev from Prabhupada, saying he's teaching something different. But Gurudev said, no, this takes proper understanding. Sometimes there's contradictory statements, but if you look at proper context, look at things in full, then you can understand them properly. So Gurudev said that Tulasi Das was a Vaishnava. He's in the Ramananda Sampradaya, which is a branch of the Sri Sampradaya. And Gurudev first makes the point that, look, if anyone's in a Vaishnava Sampradaya as a Vaishnava, chanting Vaishnava mantra, then we should respect them. And Tulasi Das wear neck beads. Tulasi Das is a Vaishnava name. Tulasi Das wear the vertical Urdhva Pundra Vaishnava tilak. He didn't wear the Mayavad Tri Pundra, 3 horizontal line tilak. And he wore Tulsi Mala, he had the Ram mantra. His Gurudev was Nrsingadev Das, also a Vaishnava. Tulsi Das, in his book, Ramcharitmanas, and his other poetry, he always glorified the Supreme Lord and the process of devotion or bhakti. He always glorified Krishna and Ram as Bhagavan. And other certain things are important. Tulsi Das, he accepted the 9 limbs of bhakti, as shown in the Bhagavatam. By Prahlad, he established that. Also, a very important thing for those who say he showed some impersonalist tendencies, they may have read some mistranslations of some of his work, or some Mayavadi impersonalists, because the Ramcharitmanas was such a popular work. Then some of the Mayavadis over generations, they could have taken that and inserted their own ideas into it. But really, if we look at it properly, the original versions and also the full versions, then it's very clearly established that bhakti is the goal he gives. Bhakti is the process, and Krishna Prem is love for God is the goal, like devotion for Ram or Krishna. And you can see that in the Ramcharitmanas. He says, the jiva is a separated part and parcel of the Lord. It's not one with God, and we can never become one with God. And that's important to know. He very clearly says, we are eternally individual. We never become one. And he gives references from the Gita. He accepts that the jiva is separated from Krishna, but also connected to Krishna, because it's Vibhinangsa Tattva, coming from Krishna, or coming from Krishna Shakti Parinambad. And many other things. Tulsi Das didn't accept impersonal liberation or any other kind of mundane or Mayavadic kind of liberation. In his meetings, he would refute Mayavad. So we should not think that Tulsi Das, we should not think, he is not a Vaishnava. In his Ramcharitmanas, it's a bhakti literature that has inspired bhakti throughout the hearts of 100 million Hindus and Indians. So it's important that he inspired everyone in devotion for Lord Ram and for Bhagavan. And so because he inspired everyone in bhakti, because he himself was a Vaishnava, then we accept him as a Vaishnava. And because he preached this bhakti everywhere in India, and his literature was regarded everywhere as a treatise of bhakti, therefore we respect him as a Vaishnava. And if we look, even Swami Prabhupada establishes that. Prabhupada says that, look, any literature that is following the statements of the Vedic literature, they're also accepted as Praman, as a scripture. So some people are saying, oh, Ramcharitmanas, it's a Hindi book, it's not Sanskrit, it's not necessarily authentic, but there's so many other books, Bengali books, that we accept as Grantha. And Prabhupada says that any literature in any language, but if it's following the same teachings of the essential Shruti and Smriti Sastra of Bhakti, then that is accepted as Grantha, that's accepted as Sastra, scripture. So because Ramcharitmanas follows the conclusions of the scriptures, and it is accepted by the Vaishnava Acharyas, therefore it is also accepted as a Bhakti Grantha, a Bhakti book. Now, at the same time, to give further illumination, it's important to remember, we honor Tulasi Das as a great Vaishnav, but we're not putting him on the same level as the Goswamis, for example, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, and their books like Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and Brihad Bhagavatamrita, and then also furthermore the Bhagavatam. We're not necessarily putting it on an equal status, because if we look at Ramcharitmanas, it doesn't completely convey Rupanuga Bhakti, Raganuga Bhakti, Braja Bhakti, or Rasamai Bhakti. But still, there's no evidence anywhere that he was a Mayavad. There's no evidence anywhere. So this is important to remember, and if you have any other questions, please put them in the comments, and we will get to them in due course. I hope you're doing wonderful in this difficult time during the coronavirus pandemic. And subscribe to our channel, share with your friends, and we will see you tomorrow. Haribo. Jai Shri Radhe.